Hey everyone, John Henry here, slingshotfutures.com, and welcome to the Market Mindset, where we take a look at the market psychology of the moves today so we can better understand tomorrow. And today, we're taking a look at a little bit of a different one, but I thought it was kind of an interesting day. This is the Eurex Bund futures. That's the FGBL for NinjaTrader. Now, the overall move in momentum, you have to keep in mind, this is a European market. It's on the Eurex exchange. It opens up earlier in the morning. In this case, it opens up at 2 o'clock in the morning Eastern time, and it goes from there. So starting back at 2 o'clock in the morning for you European traders, we actually had a pretty decent move. It started off the day kind of range bound, not that great looking. Very nice first candle of the day, great second candle, but then no follow through. Just completely fell apart, moved its way back towards the highs. Sellers obviously sold the highs, but there's not really any reason to jump on board on any of this until we get this one right here, right? On the 11th candle of the day, we have a big breakout move to the downside. It's completely different from what we've seen for the first 12 bars, right? We have this big kind of range going, not really anything happening, and then all of a sudden, boom, right? It breaks out and slams lower. Now, that complete shutdown of all of the movement that was happening, small little wedge, right? Nothing fancy, but it completely broke down, very obviously so. So what's likely to happen here is the sellers are going to attempt to take this down. Now, with this down move, that allows for a selling opportunity to drive the market down into support below, and it went there pretty darn quick. Fast move lower into major objectives underneath, and given how strong and aggressive this move down was, there's going to be a lot of sellers that maybe didn't want to sell here because they weren't sure. Selling through the bottom of a range, if you're not comfortable with the context of it, it could just bounce and go back against you. So sellers will wait. You get this little kind of bouncing, a little fiddling. They don't make a new low yet. Starts pulling back to the same area of resistance that we saw from earlier, and find an immediate reaction once again. On bar 26, the market turns straight back down again to shove the market lower, closing very near its lows, cycling off of near the moving average, everything just kind of pushing the market back down again, and that offered up another selling opportunity to drive the market further down. And another really strong 3-bar push. We have a 3-bar push here, and they followed it up with a smaller one compared to the first one, but they followed it up with another one of them. Now, a lot of sellers probably jumped in on this one because they missed the initial move, and it starts pulling back to the moving average. Sellers may sell there again, trying to get it going lower, but one big key difference here, there's a lot of bullish pressure, right? The buyers came in, not really any bear follow through, very reminiscent of what happened back here. But then we start seeing this, right? Strong kind of medium bull into bull closing on its highs, into bull closing on its highs, into bull breaking the moving average and closing near its highs. So there is a little bit of strength coming in. Arguably, the same thing could be said here, which is why you want to wait. Don't be the first one to the party. Wait for the buyers to get suckered in and then slam it lower. So sellers are waiting for that in this case too. The problem is, by the time it actually looks like they may have been trapped, the market has already continued back up and is now forming a bull channel in the opposite direction. That's not what you want to see if you're trying to look short. This is a long signal. So the market starts pushing back down, finds a top, same area as before. That's likely why you found some selling pressure there. We come into the bottom of the channel and a big rejection off of that low after the sellers tried getting it back underneath the moving average. Twin reversals right back up again for a great buying opportunity to finish off that morning session for the European traders. Now, it kind of fluctuated around a little bit as we moved into the US session and caught a big drive lower. Now, that drive lower, this is kind of a finalization of a move, right? When you see this kind of movement, back to back to back to back to back bear candles, and none of them, right? Notice this. None of them were even able to break the prior candle's low, or high. So with that failure to break the prior candle's high, this is a very aggressive turn lower, and chances are they're looking for that low, and they may even try to get underneath it. We get a bounce off of it. More likely, given the bearish pressure, sellers are probably taking profit. What better place to do it than the low a day? So we get a little bit of profit taking, and it immediately turns right back around. So if you're not comfortable selling into the bull bounce, assuming it's profit taking, the 79th bar, the one right after, allows a selling opportunity to drive the market back down and finish the job off for that move lower. We start getting a bull correction again, and we can get some clues of that. We had a big bear drop, no follow through, a little bit of bullishness, big wick on the bottom, bullishness. None of them are triggering in, so always better to be a little careful. We start getting a possibility of maybe a wedge bottom, maybe a small little spike in channel. Either way, though, we're looking for continued selling pressure now that the sellers have shown that they want to come back in. We get a correction back to the moving average, sellers sell it. Again, same thing that we saw from before. There's a decent amount of bullish pressure in this. Don't be the first one to the party. We see the sellers come in, no follow through. They break higher, and then the sellers try to take it back. But notice how weak that sell move was. The buyers were very strong. The sellers not able to prove a whole lot. They finally got a little bit of follow through, but then it completely falls apart again. So we're better off waiting for a little more information. And this candle right here gave you that clue. Now we started pushing back up. Buyers are likely in this. This is a nice strong bull candle, good bullish pressure working its way higher. We may be looking for a correction back up a little further before sellers start jumping in. And when they finally get above the moving average again, sellers shove it back down. We're now in a situation of a lower high. They miss the test of the high by only a tick or two and start turning back down. That is a very bearish indication. And a lot of sellers are going to start jumping on board to try to pile drive this right back down to the lows once again. And that finishes off the morning session. So just a phenomenal day of trading for the FGBL. That's the Eurex Bund futures. And overall, you know, even if you're trading the European session or trading Eurex markets into the US session, you can still get some pretty nice moves. Generally not as many, but you can still get some halfway decent setups. There's always a market no matter where you live. So awesome day of trading overall, and the Bund really shows that off. If you have any questions about it, you can always send me an email, jbrink@slingshotfutures.com. As always, hopefully you found this useful, hopefully you found it interesting, and we'll see you next time.